The Maya people developed their civilization around 2600 years ago in Guatemala's Yucatan Peninsula. These people built large buildings and temples in honor of their gods. They built cities like Tikal, Palenque, Copan, Calakmul, etc. This city-based civilization started collapsing around 8th century AD. The reason? The very forests which sustained their culture was burnt down to make lime plaster for decorating their massive buildings. According to some estimates, 1,000 acres of forest was burnt for each building. The familiar cycle of environmental destruction followed by famine caused people to revolt against their rulers, and cities collapsed one by one. The last great Maya city was captured by the Spanish in 1697. As people deserted the cities, the jungle re-established its rule. Examples of many such societies are found in history which developed and collapsed. The common theme seems to be environmental destruction. Modern humans feel that technology will help them overcome any and every problem, but that is a misconception. A similar near collapse has happened in modern times in the United States. 100 million acres of land almost turned into desert due to industrial farming undertaken by people in the Great Plains in North America, an area which extended from the Texas Panhandle to the Canadian border. First came the cattle, followed by the plow, and then farming machines. Farmers destroyed the long root grass and planted wheat, ignoring warnings from the local Indian tribes. When you have to earn big profits, these warnings mean little to you. The Dust Bowl or the Dirty 30s was a period of severe dust storms causing major ecological and agricultural damage to American and Canadian prairie lands from 1930 to 1936. A mega drought started in 1930 which lasted for a full 5 years. Huge 1,800 kilometer wide dust storms took away an estimated 850 million tons of topsoil. Houses were filled with dust and people lost everything. Most decided to move away, as had happened in the past to other people in other places. A powerful nation like the United States learnt a lesson it will not forget in a hurry. The little temple town of Trimbakeshwar near Nasik is a popular tourist destination during the rainy season for its scenic beauty. Most people, however, fail to notice the tons of topsoil that is being washed away and laying the land bare. Vanishing jungles are responsible for this. Trees produce a huge amount of organic matter, which prevents erosion. It also makes the soil fertile and increases water retention capacity of the soil 100 times. Once the trees are gone, reservoirs start silting up. This is the Kashyapi reservoir near Nasik, which we saw from the mountain top. The water is muddy with the silt carried down every year by the torrential rains this area experiences. After a few years, this is the kind of dead soil which will be left behind, incapable of feeding anyone. We build huge reservoirs for water without addressing the main issue. And we haven't even discussed loss of habitat and attendant species extinction. Ominous signs and symptoms are showing up again in the Earth's environment and our society. They point to some sort of catastrophic event in the future, and we as a society are responsible for it. The world's climate is changing and seasons are becoming increasingly unreliable. While the rich continue their wasteful lifestyles, it is the poor farmers who are paying the price. Here, a field full of ripened rice plants ready for harvesting have been inundated by unseasonal rains. The farmer has no option but to bear the loss. This has been happening for the last few years and farmers have no idea about how to deal with it. Farming is becoming an increasingly unattractive profession. The poor are migrating to urban centers in search of a livelihood, while they don't have enough to eat and many of them have no place to live. A rich family in Mumbai has a 27-story high-rise for a home. Something seems to be going very, very wrong here, don't you think? The Madia Gond tribals of Mendha village in Gadchiroli district of Maharashtra state seem to have a solution. The notice says, we have our government in Mumbai and Delhi, but we ourselves are the government in our village. That was their battle cry. The government has already passed a law called the Forest Rights Act 2006 and has been doing its best to implement it. But the well-entrenched government bureaucracy is resisting change and is reluctant to hand over control. With help from volunteer organizations like the Vrikshamitra or Friends of Trees and a few well-meaning government officials, they have finally won their rights after a long struggle. Today, they control about 4,500 acres of forest land where they have the right to gather minor forest produce. In return, they also have a responsibility for protecting it. It means self-reliance and self-respect for an otherwise deprived society. It also means that henceforth they will not be treated as trespassers in their ancestral land. Health of these forests has proved that it is time to hand them back to their rightful owners. That seems to be the only solution. There are enough laws to protect our forests, but the issue is poor implementation due to extreme corruption and political interference in government functioning. This has resulted in a poorly equipped and poorly staffed forest department and a demoralized police force. Despite the Supreme Court passing a judgment for police reforms in 2006, no state in India has bothered to do so. Today, there's an eerie silence here on the mountain. The Alandya story isn't just about our jungles. It is representative of the state of our society. If we make the right choices now, we could still pull out of this mess. Maybe, just maybe, Lord Khandoba will forgive us.